Now I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Andrea, who's going to talk a little bit about our upcoming events.
Is this the button you push
Yeah,
before?
I'm Andrea, I'm the VP. We're having our launch party here soon. As you can see, the 29th. It's going to be at 4:30 in 55 here. Johnson & Johnson are coming out to speak with us, some reps, and it's going to be really awesome, guys. They are huge in supply chain world. So you should come out, come hear what they have to say. They're going to talk a lot about what they're looking for when they hire and what's new in their industry and maybe even some issues they're dealing with that we can think about that would say if we were interviewing with them. So that's going to be really cool. We're also going to be having our next meeting the 5th at 5 o'clock in 124. So it's going to be a different room. So make sure you note that if you're coming. That's also my birthday. Okay. And dues. So it's 35 for our dues and 35 for the national dues. If you need help, Mo will help you with the national dues, and you can talk to Paula if you want to pay. She's in the purple right there. So if anyone owes money, bring it over.
I just want to add that for our members, their first 2 meetings are free, and so by the 3rd meeting, we will require them to pay the dues.
So, interview workshop. So as you see, we have Mike, who's going to come speak to us a little bit. Mike here, he is a exec from Vector, and he is going to be talking a little bit more about interviewing and like what we can do to build our skills. He's interviewed over 10,000 people, and he's personally trained 4,000 people, which is really, really cool. He got his degree here from USF in engineering, bachelor's, which is really awesome. And he's just here to help us out a little bit and speak. So thank you so much, guys. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you guys for having me here, and I'm super pumped to help you create job offers. So the first thing I want to ask you is the purpose of going for the interview. What's the purpose of going to the interview? Open it up. You don't have to raise your hand. Just tell me what's the purpose. You're going for the interview. What's the purpose? Is to what? Sell yourself. Get the job. It's pretty good.
Learn more about yourself.
Okay. Learn a little bit more about yourself. What about this? How many times, say I if you know someone that they went in for the job interview, they didn't get the job. Say I if you know someone. Aye. How many of you guys know this person? They go in, they get the job, but they didn't get the job they wanted. Like they didn't get as much money as they wanted, or they get the position they wanted. Aye, right? How many this? They get the job, they stay at the job, and then within a year, 6 months, a couple years, they're looking for a different job. Aye, right? So what's the purpose of the job interview? Are you going in for the job interview to just get the job? Or are you going for the job interview to be at the job for a long period of time, to get the job you want? So you want to get a little bit more clarity. And one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to help you get more clarity on exactly what you want so you can create exactly what you want, so that way you're not just going in there blindfolded. Let me give you can I get a volunteer? I was talking to Dan earlier, do you mind? It was perfect example. Is that cool? Guys, it's freaking Dan. Let's give Dan a round. So Dan was educating me a little bit about supply chain management, and I will tell you, that is awesome. And it's in direct alignment with some of the companies and business models I'm going to use today. It was awesome. These guys were educating me, and that was great, James, for letting us know a little bit about supply chain. I am a big fan of that, by the way, because that is a huge demand. Huge demand. So for those of you guys that are already members of this organization, kudos to you. If you're thinking about it, if I could turn back the hands of time, I would 100% join this group and join this program, because that is awesome, especially coming from an engineering background. That's definitely where you want to be. But so Dan, tell us a little bit about your ideal position. Like if you could map out for us, you did a great job explaining to me, so like an ideal position for you. It might be similar, it might be different, but if you wouldn't mind explaining that to me, that'd be awesome real quick.
So my ideal
Position, you're going for a job, this is what I want. What would that be?
good benefit, good company culture, and then able to work not for money, but for value.
Okay, so we said benefits. What was the other thing?
Company culture,
Culture,
and then value.
value. And you said not money necessarily. Is that about right? Ideal position for you? Cool. Guys, it's freaking Dan. Let's give Dan a round of applause. Let me ask you guys a couple of questions. When it comes to this, you know this is what you want, all right? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to get to where you want, because the gross realization that a lot of you might already know is that when you get out of college, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. And in fact, there's a couple of statistics I'd like to share with you that I looked up. 60% of college graduates do not get a job in their field. These are some realizations. 52%, there's no training for first job right out of college. 41% are earning $25,000 or less. That's 2 out of 5. So out of this table right here, 2 of you will earn less than $25,000 leaving USF, and you'll probably have somewhere around $30,000 in debt if you're lucky. So it's just important to think in these terms of like, it's not all, I go to college, I get my degree, and then I get a job that's in my field. There are certain...
One second, that is supply chain. Supply chain is different. There's a real need.
This is an average, okay? This is an average of what are common statistics that are out there, okay? So I just want to help you understand that. Let me talk a little bit about this. I want you to imagine this first day of work that Dan just talked about. So you show up for your first day. How do you want to show up for that first day? This is generalization. Just think for a moment. You show up for your first day. How do you want to show up? Do you want to know people that are in the organization? Do you want to, when you walk through that door, does the boss remember you from the interview? Did the hiring manager remember you? Were you memorable? Did you know anybody's names when you showed up for that first day? How knowledgeable are you about the position that you're about to do on that first day? Let's drag it out a little bit longer. What type of culture do you want that business to have? Is there an opportunity for you where you created a little bit of that culture? Were there opportunities for you to grow within that company? Did you grow within that company? If you drag it out a little bit longer, how long do you want to stay within that business? Do you want to grow with the business? Do you want to grow the business? So when you start thinking about these terms, start thinking about the first time you went in for that job interview. How did you express confidence? What was your eye contact like? How did you handle their responses? How did you show that employer that you were capable and qualified for that position over the other applicants that are applying for the exact same position as you? Even though they might have had a better university degree with a higher GPA, but how did that interviewer say, you know what, I want to work with Dan? How did you create that in your job interview? I'm going to break it down for you so simple, like such a simplistic form. I have a handout for you we're going to walk through that you can take today, this next 30 minutes or so, and you'll be able to teach that to your younger brother or sister, so that way they don't have to deal with the common trends that if they're not going to supply chain management, at least they don't have to worry about those trends. It's going to be so simple, and you'll be so prepared leaving today that you can go out there and be prepared for that career fair that's at the end of next week, okay? Is that cool? Is that a deal?
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and dig in. I have a handout here. There's 2 pages to this, so if you wouldn't mind, you can just grab one and pass it down. That'd be awesome. So there's 2 pages to this handout. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to be clicking. Oh, all right. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what are most companies out to accomplish? Think about it. What are they out to accomplish? They're out to accomplish 3 things, and James just talked about those 3 things essentially in his little model there. They're out to accomplish 3 things. How many things? 3. But number 1, bottom line objective of a business is to what? What is it? What's your name? Kamal? Kamal, say it one more time. No, say what you're saying. Say it again. Profit. Bottom line, end of story, they're there to profit. And there are 3 things that bring in profitability. Any ideas what those 3 things are? We discussed it at this table before, if you remember. 3 things that bring in profits. Lowering costs. So increasing sales 2 ways.
Sustain the customers we already have.
Repeat business from current customers and new business. You got it? 3 ways to help the business increase profits. Doesn't matter what the business is. So if you know that that's the end result goal of the business, how should you approach your interview? With that in mind, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So please, thank you. All right, so let's go through this. We have this handout. I think I'm a little bit ahead of the slides, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, James. Guys, freaking James. Let's give James a round of applause. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right, so what I have here is just a couple of samples. This is AT&T. I kind of already talked about this, but this is essentially what they're looking for when they go in. When they're looking for people, they have it on their website. So before you even go in for the job interview, you can go on their website and see exactly what they're looking for before you even get there. So the statistics, I already went through that, and that's fine. All right, let's go to this. Before the interview actually starts. So before the interview actually starts, it says prepare for a portfolio. How many of you guys in this room right now, you guys already have a resume, right? Raise your hand, you have a resume. Most of you should, right? one thing that I want you to think about when you look over your resume is there's something called the 6-second scan, right? 6 seconds. You want to jump out at the employer within 6 seconds. One thing you do want to try to put on your resume, though, is quantities. Attach numbers to your background, if you can. If you can. Use numbers to explain your accomplishment. Just adds more credibility to where you're at. You can see business cards. I encourage Vistaprint because it's cheap, near free. You just pay for shipping. You get a couple business cards made up. You can probably print a couple of USF ones. I don't know if you have access to those. You get USF business cards. I think that's a great idea. So you have those in your portfolio that you could leave with a resume. I think that's professional. Research the company. So you want to know your company's mission statement. Now, you want to know the company's mission statement before you get there. And I have a couple of examples here of a couple of mission statements, and this is Sears. To improve the lives of our customers. You will notice this, right? To improve the lives of our customers. This is AT&T. You see, a benefit to our customers. Microsoft. Commitment to our customers. You know the trend right there? So everything is about the customers. Why? Because the only way for the business to achieve its number one goal, which is what? Profit, is through their customers. But they're not going to put on the mission statement, we want to profit. They think with the end in mind. They're thinking we want to help our customers. So that's what we want to tailor our responses towards, right? For their customers, but also their profitability. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. Super simple. Super, super simple. So how we tailor it towards the business, their mission statement, the company growth, what they're about. Let me give you an example here. So let's say the company's business model we said was Microsoft, Sears. It doesn't really matter, okay? And they say, why do you think you'd be an asset to the company? What you want to do is you want to tailor that response to that question to their mission statement. So you want to go in there with an idea. Okay, they're trying to profit and they're trying to help their customers. How can I tailor my response to show them I did my research on their mission statement without saying I did my research on the mission statement? Do you see that? So let me give you an example real quick. So if, say you're interviewing me and you said, why do you think you'd be an asset to our company? Say that.
Why do you think you'd be an asset to the company?
I'm really glad you asked that question because one of the things I pride myself on is helping provide the best service possible to every single person in the organization, whether that's the customers, the managers, and especially the staff. And I know with the training that you guys provide and how quick of a learner I am, I can help you cut costs, I can help you maximize profitabilities, I can make sure that I bring my A game every single time to generate new clients, as well as sustain the current customers you have. And I know I'll be an asset to your team. If you give me the opportunity to show you, I will. What I just did, there's a science. It's not an art, it's a science. I'm gonna walk you through that science. So the first thing I did, what did I do? The very first thing I said, what came out of my mouth?
Thank you for asking.
I'm really glad you asked that. Thank you for asking that question. That's a really great question, right? So you compliment the question, right? And did you see what I did with my nonverbals? I don't know if you saw this or not. Standing, but even when you're sitting, when you're responding to the question, what do you want to do with your body language? You want to lean back or you want to lean in? You want to lean in, right? Because when you lean in, it shows what? It shows interest, it shows confidence, it shows eagerness, right? If you lean back, what does that space say? What does the space say if I'm leaning back?
Closed off.
Lack of confidence, fear, right? I'm uncertain. You see that? Something so small. So you get the question, that's a great question. See the eye contact, direct eye contact? There's also something else I'm doing, I'm present. I wasn't looking at anything else that was around me. I was looking at one thing and one thing only. I wasn't looking at my fingers. I wasn't looking at a sheet of paper. I was looking direct eye contact right here. My heart, my eyes, everything. It's called being present, okay? Called being present. See, how many guys ever, guys in the room, how many of you ever had this conversation maybe with a teacher, your mom, or a girlfriend, or significant other, and you're talking with them, and they say, listen to me when I'm talking to you. And you're like, I heard everything you said, but they get mad at you. Any guys know what I'm talking about? How many girls in this room have ever been experienced this? You're talking to the guy and he's looking at everything but you, right? He's looking at the phone, he's looking at the TV, he's looking at areas of your body he shouldn't be, right? And he's talking to you, right? Or you're talking to him and he's like listening but he's not there, and you like feel like, hey, why are you not listening to me? Any girls in the room know what I'm talking about here? So guys are saying, I heard you. Girls are saying, you're not listening. The point is they want you to be present. Being present is not the same as listening. Hearing them is one thing, but when you're in an interview or in a relationship or a conversation, you want to be present. You want to give them your heart, your eyes, your focus, everything is right here, almost to the point where it's uncomfortable. You guys get me? Try it next time. And it takes a lot of discipline, but I promise you, you'll lose a lot of those arguments and a lot of that resentment. All right? So as far as this goes, know your desired outcome. Do you have short-term, temporary? What do you exactly want before you go in for that interview? Know what you want. Know what you're after. Are you there just to get the job where you can shift jobs? I have a good friend of mine. We're the same age, and they're already on their 4th job. Because every time they go in for an interview, they're too short-sighted. That's okay, but how are you going to grow a business or grow within the business if you're shifting 4 times within 6 years? You see? So just have an idea of the end in mind. Have an idea of the end in mind before you go in for that job interview, so that way you can get your ideal outcome. This is a good example. Remember I told you earlier that they post on their website exactly what they're looking for? So you want to know, okay, this is the positions that are available. Well, what if what you want isn't listed, but you really want to work for that company and you know they have that position available? What are you going to do? Are you going to say, I guess I'm not going to work with Sears? How do you go for it? How do you still go for it? How do you still go apply to work for Sears, but your position isn't listed here? Any ideas on that? Just go to this to show up and talk to the head person. You know what's your name? Ariana? That is exactly right. Because here's the deal. If you show up, you're no longer 1,000 sheets of paper that are in a stack. Now there's an impression. And if you're going for supply chain management or marketing or business, sometimes they'll tell you, only submit your resume. In my opinion, that's part of the interview. They want to see who's taking the initiative to go above and beyond, to not go with the herd of everybody else that are just going to submit a resume. Who's going to put themselves out there and risk vulnerability of getting rejected? Those are the people that are hungry for success. Those are the ones that I want to work with. You feel me? There's no position available, we'll make one for you. That's exactly right. You take the initiative and you go make an impression. I'm going to show you how to make that impression without coming across overconfident, without coming across arrogant. Because there's a difference there. You don't want to step on toes, but you want to be impressive. And a lot of us are fearful of being overconfident or cocky or arrogant, but the fact of the matter is there's too many people that are too passive. So by you trying to really put yourself out there and risk that vulnerability and risk that overconfidence, all it's going to come across to as a business owner is capable. Just something to think about, right? Appropriate dress. Most of you already know this. Most of you already know a lot of this. I'm just going to give you just a couple simple rundown here. Appropriate dress, men, suit jacket. You can just see what's listed there. Blouse is not too showy for the girls. Down to the knees. Press clean, don't wear too much cologne. You guys can see a lot of this. A lot of this is basic, fundamental, as far as closed toe shoes. If you're gonna wear open toe, which I don't encourage, just make sure your toes are done for the girls. Make sure boys and guys, your belt matches your shoes and your socks match your pants. It's a little fundamental that sometimes I find that gentlemen forget. So just to show you an idea of what it looks like, something along the lines of this is a good idea of business professional for a guy, and a lady is something like this. In the business world, a skirt is viewed as more professional than the pants, but both are equal in a sense of for an interview. But when you have the business skirt, it's just deemed a little bit more professional. So that would be something just to look at and consider. Basic etiquette. We already talked a little bit about the eye contact. I want to transition into the handshake, because the handshake, how important are first impressions? Huge, right? Now, there's a fine line between the handshake of the dead fish, which is, oh, it's so nice to meet you today. The dead fish, right? And then there's the fine line between the hand rape, right? So nice to meet you today, right? The hand rape. You got to find the line between the two, okay? So I'm going to show you real quick on how to do the handshake. You're going to practice this. It's really super simple, but it's important because it shows confidence in the handshake. So we already talked about the eye contact, we talked about being present. Now watch. You're gonna be like sitting there, and they're gonna like probably come in, you're just sitting there waiting. You know the boss walks in the room, so you gotta give a first impression. How do you give a first impression? You stand up. Now you don't want to be too eager. Oh, sir. Yeah, not too eager, right? But you also don't want to be too like casual, like, what's up, right? You don't want to do one of those either, right? So there's this first impression you got to really think about. And you don't want to be too nervous or cautious, like one of these, right? All nonverbal. On a handshake, right? But there's a lot that goes behind it. The right angle and the open palm is what I've learned to be the best. Because if you can have the employer or the hiring manager place their hand into yours, you're going to get a better grip. So when you get a better grip, that means you could get a firmer handshake, and then you get this little tug in there, and the tug says, oh baby, I'm confident. I am capable. But your smile and your eye contact is polite, warm, welcoming, and watch the words that come out of my mouth. Ready? So nice to meet you today. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. Kind, polite, my handshake is like, I'm a freaking woman, don't mess with me. Especially if you're petite. You gotta like really tackle that handshake, right? So we're gonna practice this. So the open palm, have them place their hand into yours and give a little tug. Go ahead and turn to like 2 or 3 people and shake their hand. So open palm, have them place their hand into yours and a little tug. Now don't squeeze too fast. Okay? So let me show you what I mean. So watch. Keep them right? That's a good question. Let me grab your attention, right? Check it out. One thing I want to point out here. All right, Kamal's going to demonstrate for us. Ready? Watch. Kamal. Don't watch me. Watch him. Ready? Do you see what he just did? He looked down. What did we talk about? The connection, right? Do you see that? Don't focus on the handshake, because if you focus on the hand, you lose the connection. You see? So you got to focus on the connection, because if he looks down, he's going to place his hand into yours. Do you see? That's how you get that upper hand. That's how you get that firm grip. Don't break that eye contact. Make them break the eye contact. Now, if they're the owner, they're probably pretty established in shaking a hand. But sometimes you get lucky. You know, sometimes you go in there and doing it the right way, you can get that strong first impression. Thank you so much for taking the time today to meet with me. I appreciate it. Right? Something like that. Smile, direct, confident, handshake is firm, present. I'm not looking at anyone else. Just you, because you're the one my fate is in your hands. You see that? Let's give Kamal a big round of applause. So that's a little bit about the handshake. A little bit about the handshake. It's something it's so small, but really can make a big difference. All right. Oh, we had another question. Let me answer this one, Paula. And
would the handshake be different when you are shaking hands with the opposite sex?
You know, that's a good question. What do you guys think? Opposite sex handshake?
Same.
Exact same. That is the answer I was looking for. There is, in the business world, there is no difference. No difference in my opinion. That's an opinion, but I don't think. Now, here's the thing. This is very advanced, Paula, to answer your question. She said some people might go in for the 2 handshake. This is very advanced psychology behind this. I don't know, is it okay if I share something like super advanced with you guys? Is that all right? Like psychology behind it? I don't want to like throw like, is that all right?
Go for a try.
There's different types of people that have sensory acuity, and space builds rapport. So some people don't want you in their space. Some people would love for you to be in their space. There's certain ways that you can tell. That's a whole separate topic, and I could spend an hour teaching you how to tell sensory acuity and how to use space to connect and build rapport with someone. And if you wanted me to come back, I could totally teach that. But to keep it as simplistic as possible, you want to read them, okay? You want to read them. If they're, it's so hard to explain. But if they come in, sometimes people come in with like the hug. Sometimes people go with the hand. That means they're a touch type of person. You don't want to do that unless they initiate it. Keep it simple, okay? There are ways for you to tell if they're a touch person before you ever get to the handshake. Don't have time to go into that right now, but there are ways, and you can look around their business and look around their environment to see whether they're a touch person, whether they're more of like a distant type of person. whether they like their space, to, they're close, so you could, there's ways to figure that out. Not the topic today though, but that's a really good question. So I would match them. So to answer your shorthand question, match whatever they do. They go in for the two-hand, you go in for the two-hand. Know why? Because people like people that are like themselves. Huh. Oh, Mike, thanks for the clarification. Worth writing down though. People like people that are like themselves. So it's called matching and mirroring. And if you match them and do exactly what they do, they're going to instantaneously say, wow, I like you, because you're like me. Does everyone see that? So just match them in that sense, if they go in for the double handshake. All right, stage 1, build rapport, connect with them. This is a perfect lead-in, Paulo, so I'm glad you asked. Look around their office to connect with them. You want to look around their office to connect with them. What do I mean by that? In my office, I have like a wall of places I've traveled. So if someone comes in to interview with me and they talk about the wall of the travel, they look me over here and they're like, wow, have you been to all these places? Instant rapport. So you want to look around the environment and see, are the pictures, like I just went, I met with Dimmitt Auto and made a picture of his family. Immediately I shook his hand and looked at the picture and I said, is this your family? What's their names? Where was this picture taken? And he lit up like a Christmas tree. You see? Instant rapport. Because he's like, wow, what a nice person. You see that? So you want to look at things around their office. Pictures are good, places they've traveled. These are a couple of things. If they're into sports, if they have like a big Buccaneers something in their office, especially here in Tampa Bay, you say, so how do you think the Bucs are going to do next season? What do you think they're going to do with their draft pick? You don't need to know anything more about football than just that one question. But if you know a little bit about a lot, you can connect with someone and they're going to say, wow, I like you. Why? Because people like people that are like themselves. Do you see that? That's going to allow you to get hired. That right in itself could get you ahead of the 1,000 other applications that are on that desk, just because they like you. So that's rapport. General questions, use that. Don't talk too much. Avoid dominating the conversation. Let them answer the questions. What do I mean by that? If they say, typical question, so how are you doing today? So how are you today? They don't care. They're not asking you because they want to know, right? Here's how you respond. Ready? Ask me.
How are you?
Mohammed, right? So,
How are you doing today?
outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
Great, thanks.
See the energy, enthusiasm, positive, upbeat energy, right? Watch this. Ask me how you're doing today.
How are you today?
Traffic was, I'm just getting by, glad to finally make it here though, but I almost didn't make it because I was running behind. But thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, right? I can't tell you how many times that happens. So you gotta be aware of it. It's an interview. It's an interview. So you wanna make sure that you are like, everything you say, everything you do does make a difference and it does matter. So that's a really great way to properly respond to that question. All right, stage 2. Stage 2, this is where they're gonna start asking you some questions. I put a list of my favorite ones that I like to ask on here. You could go to Google and you could probably pull up a ton of other ones that are out there, but these are some of my favorites. So so let me go ahead and share a couple of my thoughts on some of these questions. We're actually gonna do an exercise before I start wrapping up when it comes to these questions. So stage 2 of the interview, questions to expect. As far as a trap question is a question that is going to, the response could allow you to not get the job. So you gotta avoid those. Like they might say something like, how often would you need a smoke break? Now, I'm just giving an example here, all right? It's a trap. Run, all right? How do you answer that question if you're a smoker? I'm just giving an example, but how would you properly answer that question without lying, with being truthful? What's the answer?
As many as you allow me.
That's the answer. You got it. That is the answer. How many smoke breaks do you need? If you give a number, you're needy. You're deemed as needy. If you say, I don't need a smoke break, but you actually smoke, now you're a liar. So the correct answer is as many as you allow. I wouldn't need any more than what you give me. I can do it before and after my shift, but it would never interfere with work. See how that can be a trap? There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You must have an opening statement. So we're going to do an exercise before I wrap up, because the exercise, the opening statement, is crucial for next week. You have how long to make an opening statement? Any guesses?
30 seconds.
I would say keep it to 30 because you're probably going to use a little bit of fillers to get it to 60. So you want to try to keep it at 30 seconds. A 30-second powerful opening statement. And what is it? It's a commercial of you that gets your point across with no fillers. So first off, what we're going to do is you can turn it over to the back. Go ahead. I'm going to just give you just 30 seconds real quick. Off the top of your head, you're going to empty out your head onto a piece of paper your potential opening statement. Your opening statement. 30 seconds. Take another 25 on what you view, what you think your opening statement should consist of. Give it 15 seconds. Just dump that brain out. Now I'm going to talk for about 20 seconds, but you're going to keep writing. I want to make sure you have in your response something about the company's interest. If you don't have anything about the company's interest in your opening statement, start adding it to it. If you don't have any benefits, key benefits that you can bring to the company, like what could you bring to that company? Add that into your opening statement. You want to highlight some key benefits that you offer. Ten more seconds. Cool. What I want you to do right now is I want you to find a partner, but before you find a partner, what you're going to do is you're going to bounce your ideas off of your partner to make your statement even that much more powerful. And take theirs, share with each other, collaborate, and make it even better. And you're going to make it even better. You don't have to like role play it yet, but just make it better. Share what you got and say, ooh, I like that. Here's what mine has. I think yours can use this. You know, give each other a little help. So find a partner. You got to go 6 seconds. Take 6 seconds. Find a partner. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who does not have a partner? Cool. Partner. You need a partner right here. You need a partner right here. Everyone else is good.
It starts off with
If you haven't switched yet, switch. If you haven't switched yet, switch. All right. Now, what you're going to do right now is I want you to rehearse it. I want you to rehearse it live. And we're going to time you. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, all right? But you're going to do it live for your partner. Partners, what I want you to do is to hook your partner up. If they use any fillers, what do I mean by does anybody maybe know somehow any?
No, I got it.
You know.
Any of those? You know, a lip pop, a swallow. One of those. Those are all fillers. I want you to tally how many times your partner fillers in 30 seconds. Okay? Cool? Go ahead and do it. Go. 30 seconds and go. 25 more seconds. 20 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Stop. Give your partner a high five and say, that was awesome. All right. Now, honestly.
What's that?
Yeah, leave the door open in case people want to come.
Okay, sure. Will we be recording throughout?
Yeah. Just we can cut it out.
There you go.
Carrie?
Okay, how are we doing, everybody? Good? Okay. My name is James Taglioni. I'm the president of the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals Student Roundtable at the University of South Florida. I'm excited to see you all out here today during one of our first general meetings, as well as our first great events of the new semester. So thank all of you. So for those of you that don't know, we're an organization that just got started this past semester, and I'm so very proud of our members who have helped grow our organization to what it is today. And for those of you who are new here today, I've prepared a few slides to tell you a little bit about what our organization is and what we do.
There's no tape.
So to begin with, I want to go over a quick definition of what supply chain management is. According to CSCMP, our national association, supply chain management encompasses the planning and management of all activities involving procurement, conversion, and logistics management in a business. Essentially involves collaboration with different suppliers, intermediary, third-party logistics providers, and our customers as well. It's a very cross-functional skill. The purpose of each supply chain manager's job is to optimize its business so that it can provide greater value to customers, as well as improving its competitive advantage in the marketplace. Now, according to, I believe it was one of the job reporting sites, supply chain management job outgrowth is actually one of the leading most growth over the next few years in all business positions as well. And I believe there's also a study that showed that there are about 6 available positions for every qualified supply chain graduate. So something to think about for our juniors and seniors in the room. A little bit about who we are.
So that's what you see right now, which is pretty damn good, just the way it is.
Okay.
Okay, and then do record from over here. Now, that's the last part I didn't get. We have to open it. Okay, and rewind. I don't see where record is.
Record.
Okay. So do you want to do it from the very beginning? I
Yeah.
want to see how much time you have. Over here. It should tell me.
You know how you guys kind of know what each
Okay, we're already